Okay, so uh, thanks for joining us today. Just introduce myself. My name's Simon Hubbard. I'm head of the training program at the PGA, joined by Dr. Paul Garner from the University of Birmingham. We're just going to run through and talk to you a little bit about the top up program. Paul, do you want to just go through these first couple of slides about why to study at Birmingham?
Yes, thank you. Thanks for the introduction, Simon. Yeah, obviously we're very proud at Birmingham to have the international reputation that we do. So the University of Birmingham is part of the Russell Group, but perhaps more importantly for people on this call, has a global reputation for sport exercise sciences. So the QS rankings that you can see top left there, we were ranked number 6 in the world for sports science in the last rankings. So that's something that we're proud to shout about. I think the rankings there with good reason. There's phenomenal research coming out of the school. They have it, the blue one on the right. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's a university with an excellent reputation. Probably also worth mentioning the Athena Swan Silver Award there. So a lot of work goes into that from the school to evidence the equality, diversity, inclusive work that goes on at the university. So that's another award that we're proud to have had bestowed upon us.
Thanks, Paul. So what we're going to do is obviously talk about people that would be interested in topping up from their foundation qualification that they would have got as part of their PGA training when they first qualified. The entry criteria, the structure and the different modules, the assessments, and then obviously if you've got any questions. So one of the things that we get asked, and when we speak to students on the program whilst they're going through the training program, as they're taking their foundation, is the importance of a BSc degree. And really, I would say this is where you need to decide whether this is the right thing for you or not. We would list the fact that you're already working in the industry. It's a competitive industry. A lot of people now, we're finding that people come back to us and they have issues about regaining their visa status, and more places I'm guessing us leaving the EU has had something to do with that as well. But people are finding it harder to get the work permits to allow them to work overseas. So obviously this is another reason that we have the program available to members. When it comes to job applications, if you're able to differentiate yourself between yourself and other candidates, the fact that you've got a degree, it's going to hopefully set you above other people, and also it's showing a commitment to furthering your career and knowledge through CPD. So some information about the program. It is online. This was something that was crucial, that when we set it up, that it had to be online, because obviously our members are working and they need to be able to, they can't be having to come back to either the academy or to the university to continue studying. So the materials, similar to what you've done on foundation degree, online materials, there's recorded lectures, there's different tasks and reading that you need to do, which is done from Canvas. So the majority of people will have familiarity with Canvas. We have 1 to 2 hour seminars and tutorials. So the idea is that you'll be given tasks, given reading, given work to do, and then you'll have a seminar basically to discuss that those different topics. So they're held weekly. The modules start every September and then in the January, and we'll look at the modules in a moment. The tutorials, the sessions are recorded, but obviously there's an expectation that that students will attend. And obviously, you know, for students to get the most out of it from the money that they're investing in the studies, it's important that people do attend. Paul, if there's anything you want to add, just come on in at any time.
Yeah, well, I think that last point you made, Simon, you know, we see that reflected in students' results as well. So not only are those face-to-face sessions online, you know, that's where the rich learning takes place, where students learn from each other, where we can really interrogate some of the subject matter. So it feels more meaningful, but that also helps hugely with assessment points.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the more someone puts in, the more they're going to get out of it, isn't it? So the program is delivered. It's again same as foundation. It's part-time, and it's over 2 years. So when people were studying on the foundation program, they were effectively doing 2 years, the first 2 years of a full degree course. Again, though, that was part-time because that was done over the 3 years. We do get asked about doing it over 1 year, and you just wouldn't, that would be classed as full-time study, and I can assure you wouldn't cope with being able to do that. So as we've said already, really, there's online sessions, there's the weekly webinars, the different reading journals and different tasks that you're expected to complete. Unlike the foundation program, which was delivered 100% by the PGA, this is delivered by 50-50 between the PGA and the university, and we've worked on the same model as we do with our AGMS degree program. Again, when you were studying on foundation, you would have studied at 2 different levels. You would have studied at level C, and you'd have done that in year 1 and part of year 2, and then the next level, level I, you would have done some of that in year 2, and all of year 3 would have been at level I. So this is obviously a higher learning level, and as I say, it's delivered 50-50. The next cohort will be September 24, and assuming that you go through, it will be July 2026 when the graduation takes place. This is the breakdown of the modules. You can see in year 1 there's 3 modules, but those 3 modules are again similar to what you did on foundation, 20 credits for each one. And you can see that when we said about them starting in September and January, so the first 2 modules, they start in September, go through the winter, which is hopefully a better time for people to be doing those modules, and then in the second semester, in the following January, the coaching module is there. And then in year 2, there is 1 module that's delivered from in September over the winter, and then the dissertation project that takes place from September right the way through until May. So that is taking the whole academic year over those 2 semesters. And you can see in year 2 that the dissertation is worth more credits. So you're doing 60 credits in each year to bring up in. When you're doing foundation, you earn 240 credits, and these modules will bring you up to 360, which is what you need to get a degree. So in year one, there's a research module. You can see the assessments that are used for that. And then the leading and managing people. And then in year two, the professional practice, and then the dissertation. Obviously, the bulk of the dissertation is the project that you would actually submit.
Is it worth talking a little bit about that dissertation, Simon? Because it's, with it being a professional dissertation, it's slightly different to a traditional thesis that you might assume somebody at university would undertake. So this is recognition that you are embedded in a professional environment. So the idea is that your dissertation is a piece of research that you do in your professional environment that is relevant to your workplace. So with our normal undergraduate students, we put them onto a placement and we talk to the placement provider about something that they would like to have researched, and the student then conducts that research. With you already being embedded in your own workplace, it would be a case of speaking to your employers, speaking to your colleagues, and trying to understand what would be a useful piece of research for you to conduct that would help develop the business or develop the place that you're working. So it's sort of there's still a written part to that, and you'd be writing what we call an executive report as opposed to a thesis. So still a standalone piece of research, but it should feel useful to you and useful to your employers.
And I think that's what is a really one of the beauties of the program that we've now got set up, is that the piece of work, rather than you just being given a title to work on, you can work out what is most relevant to you, and to where you at perhaps at your facility. So you can tailor that, and certainly for the first cohort of people that completed the top up, they were able to do it on different aspects of their facility, and on the back of them completing those projects, the facility was so impressed that they actually promoted both of those people. So it's a really worthwhile thing that you're able to do. We sometimes get asked about specializing in coaching or business, but you can see here where we've got the coaching module. Obviously, that is specialized to coaching. The leading and managing people, I would suggest it's sort of it is more around a business theme, but you could possibly put it into both brackets, and theme it around either the business side or the coaching side of the environment that you're in. Developing professional practice, that again can be tailored to either business or coaching. And again, as we've just been talking about, the dissertation project is you're able to focus that. So very much, although there isn't a pathway, there is flexibility in the modules for you to be able to create a pathway yourself. The application process, applications are initially to the PGA. We'll then assess whether you are eligible to continue applying, and once we've done that, we'll get in contact with the university. I think the competition for places, because this is still becoming established, it's not something that you would need to be too concerned around at the moment. We have a deadline date for applications, the end of August, ready to start towards the end of September, beginning of October. Important notes for you to remember are that when you've finished, you can't say you've got a foundation degree and a BSc degree. But to be perfectly honest, you're not going to be saying that. You're just going to be shouting out that you've got an honours degree. So I don't think that's just something that we need to say to you. Support, you would have a personal academic tutor, someone based at the university, but everything that you had available to you whilst you're on the foundation degree. So having access to welfare support, learning support, all of those things. If you had that whilst you're on the foundation degree, all of those services are available to you on the top up. We have the seminars. We try and set them, or the lecturers would set them so that they're done on at the same time each week. Normally 1 to 2 hours, depending on what needs to be covered for that particular session. And with the tasks and the reading that you are given, there's an expectation of around between 5 to 10 hours of self-study per week. Again, similar to what the expectation was when you were doing the foundation on the program. The way that it's calculated is that 25%. So again, a slight difference with the foundation is there isn't any classification, whereas with the top up, your degree classification can be, it's a 2-2, 2-1 first class honours. So it is results based as well. 25% of it would be the work that you did on the foundation program at level I. So half of your year 2 studies and all of your year 3 studies on the foundation program. And then 75% of it is the marks that you gain over these 2 years at level H. The fees are $4,750 per annum for home students and $6,750 for international students. You can, if you've got finance available, you can still get student loans. So it depends on how much of that you've used previously. You would need to make contact with a student loan company to check on what you do have available. And again, like the foundation program, the fees are paid directly to the university. We'll let you have the presentation, but the links are here to get help from Birmingham and the student finance that's obviously run by the UK government. So those links are there. And then just summing up, really, what we expect of students is attendance, engagement, to meet the hand-in dates, and obviously to pay fees on time. And that's pretty much it, really. If you've just got any further questions, there is another slide which has just got contact details for Paul and myself. So if you've got any questions, then please let us know.
Simon, just before we wrap up, it might just be worth. Well, I'd like to just say how much I've enjoyed working on this top-up degree this year. In particular, we've had a really good cohort, and I think some of the discussions we've had, I've been involved in the research methods module and in the developing professional practice module. And some of the conversations that we've had in those online seminars, have been really, really good. I think the students have found them really useful. It's helped the students to think differently about where they're going with things, help them to think differently about their professional context. And I think one of our aspirations for anybody coming through the university doing a degree is that they can go into the world and make a difference, make a change. You know, and I think people coming through the top up are well placed to do that, to look at what needs to be done in the golf industry, and to go and make a positive change. So, you know, it's been a really good experience interacting with the students this year.
Yeah, that's good. So I think it's a really good point about, we've often talked about, I know you and I, Paul, with AGMS, you know, about the opportunities that are available. Students that have got this degree are in an equal position, aren't they, to be able to make changes within the industry.
Absolutely, you know, and I appreciate it's not for everybody. Everybody who comes through the foundation degree, this isn't necessarily the right route for everybody. But you know, for many of the people listening to this, think hard about the fact that you've put 3 years hard work in. You know, if you keep going for another 2 years, you never know what's down the road. You know, so not only is this you know, sort of, Simon had a slide earlier about why do this, and one of them was to demonstrate that you're continuing with your CPD. If you ever wanted to continue your education, do a master's degree, you know, that might be in 10 years' time. You might not know that's your plan, but this would open the door to that. So that was certainly my experience. I ended up doing a master's degree 25 years after graduating, so you never know what's around the corner. So, you know, so if people are sort of umming and ahhing, you know, I'd really encourage you to take this opportunity, because you know, it's much harder to go and start again, you know, rather than just continuing from where you are.
And I'll just add to that, Paul, something else that I've just thought of, which again we sort of talk about when we're speaking to potential AGMS students, is that the fact that you have a degree, that you've got an honours degree, and I would certainly hope that everyone that does it stays within the golf industry. But if you did decide to have a career change, then the fact that you've got a full honours degree and a degree from Birmingham is it is definitely not going to hold you back, and would allow you to look for other things if you wanted to have a career change further down the line.
Yeah, totally agree.